We are back on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk, 1180, 1230 KGEO, 1410 KERI, now in Albuquerque, New Mexico on 1000 KKIM, and across this nation on the Internet 3 times a week on knookmedia.com. We are having a great, fun conversation with two of my favorite political consultants, Mark and Cathy Abernathy. So we're talking about the state. Clay.
You know, recently there was they were trying to pick the most liberal state in the nation, and somebody on the committee stopped and got gas in Bakersfield, so we didn't get it.
I saw that, yeah. Yeah.
Right, we were going to win the most liberal state, and then the guy doing the judging got gas in Bakersfield and said, whoa, they don't qualify.
There goes the liberal street. You know, as Cathy said earlier, if this election had been just based on Kern County, it would be a complete Republican ticket.
Right.
Different.
What a different state it would turn into, too. I want to give a shout-out to New Mexico. Their governor, Susana Martinez, just got reelected. There's another contender. She's Attorney General and now Governor. She's sharp.
Yeah, and for those of you listening in New Mexico, especially in her office, she was supposed to be on our show a couple times and has backed out.
We'd love to have Susan come on.
We'd love to have her
well, she likes Bakersfield. Kevin McCarthy brought her here, so she needs to come back on.
Yeah, we've talked to her, and for some reason haven't been able to pull it off. So what do you think about California results? I mean, overall.
Well, very disappointed.
Not enough pain yet.
Yeah.
Not enough pain yet.
Well put.
It's coming. When the pain is enough, then the voters will change.
We had Pete Peterson on a couple times. I thought he was a shoo-in.
He was a candidate for Secretary of State, and he actually wanted to be Secretary of State. He wasn't using it as a springboard, and would have done a very good job in our elections. Boy, if there's one thing that the public, the voting public, needs to have faith in, is it run fair and is it run efficiently? And there's a lot of issues that go on with that. This whole registering to vote through the DMV business, you do that, your registration never hardly makes it. At least Republican people I know. I don't know about the Democrat ones. So it's an important office. But Mark's point is that until people understand how it's the state that's doing this to them, not big business, not the rich, not the stuff that you hear about so much, that it's the policies of the state government, then we can't get a change. But when that happens, you will see it, and it will be a tsunami effect, because there's just been so much bad coming to that legislature, taking our water. They've now taken our groundwater. These initiatives on the ballot, they even play games with that. They passed a law up there that Brown signed that their water bond was to get the number 1. Mm-hmm. And everybody and all the rest, they wanted 1 and 2. So they numbered those. It used to be they draw a number and then they move into the next 10 and the next 10. No, they knew it'd be easier to sell Prop 1 and 2, and then the rest were all bunched as 40, 46, 47, 48. Right. Just things like that to twist election results. And, of course, he changed the law that you can't have propositions on the primary ballot. Why? Because most Democrats don't vote in primaries. They vote in general. Yeah. So he's everything he can to concoct. And in my book, it's an election. If somebody chooses not to vote, you don't say, well, we got to change it because we don't like the result of the people that do vote. So Sacramento is the reason California is failing, even more so than the federal government.
Well, I was really surprised because Alex Padilla, this guy's just a government employee looking for his next job. He just comes out of the Senate, mm-hmm. Now he becomes Secretary of State. Right. What's next? Another election that surprised me was the controller. I thought Ashley Swearinger had a great opportunity there, and it was a surprise she lost too.
Right.
Mm-hmm. How did you vote on Prop 1 and Prop 2?
Well, I voted no.
I voted no as well.
I did also. Not because we don't need water. We desperately need water, and we need that water delivery system. The rain in California falls in the mountains, and the snow in the mountains in the winter, and it runs down, and we collect it, we save it, and we use it to grow our food. That's the way life has been in California during the prosperous years. But it's changed now because now the state has taken control of the water, and the people that have the benefits and have control within the state. And one of the legs of the Democrat Party are the environmentalists, the professional environmentalists, and there are tens of thousands of professional environmentalists, and they are being trained at UC Berkeley every year, coming out of there needing jobs in the environmental business. What do need to get jobs, they need to either work for the government in a regulatory fashion. So there's got to be more regulations, more fees, more fines upon business. That grows every year, the fees and the fines on business, because that's the job of the environmentalist trained at Berkeley. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse. They also have their nonprofit organizations that get grants from government and business. They got to fill those jobs. They got to create more jobs in those areas. And then all of this forces businesses then to hire environmentalists to try to conform to the environmental laws. You can see this is a suffocating system that is going to eliminate the ability of people to do business. We're already seeing, of course, businesses getting out of here if they possibly can.
Sure.
It's going to get worse, and that's why we say until though the pain gets bad enough, we're still going to have the power structure that stays there. The Democrat Party, has three legs. It has the public employee unions, those in public employees. It has the environmental lobby, the professional environmentalists, and it has the homosexual lobby. So those are the three parts of the Democrat Party. You want to analyze that someday.
Sure. We're having a conversation with Mark and Cathy Abernathy.
Mark, one of the elections for the assembly that I did like was the fact that Steve Fox lost to a Republican.
That was very nice. Yeah.
Overwhelming.
Yeah. Fox has a lot of problems up there in Sacramento, as we all know. He's been accused of various harassment situations and other things. So I think it's a good move to get rid of him.
Yeah, and we had his competitor on the show, and I like him really. Lackey. Nice guy. Tom's a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're also pleased that George Runner got elected again to the Board of Equalization. So
George Runner does a good job fighting for the taxpayer. I'd say a Board of Equalization you don't hear about much, but George Runner is, I admire him because when things like that fire tax, which they called a fee, I mean, he comes out and blasts those things and tries to take up the fight.
George and I were doing what Clay and I do years ago. We had a talk show together.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah, for a couple of years.
Yeah, we're seeing a slow turnaround here. It seems like we're getting a few offices, and all the elections are getting closer and closer. And as Mark pointed out, our time is going to come. It's just waiting around is the problem.
Well, look what the Central Valley is becoming. I mean, they're the Spanish, Hispanic, Mexican people that are born, raised, whether here from Mexico, they're here now. Those that are here legally are voting. They are conservative. They are conservative in nature. They are conservative with their religious beliefs. They want to work. They know that the water is needed to work in the industry they're in, or they're in the oil industry here, making great pay. And so they see what Sacramento's doing. And so when you see us Republicans winning these Central Valley seats, they're not winning them with Republicans. They're winning them with Democrats, registered Democrats, because the Hispanics come up here and they're told that's what you are, I guess. And then they're here for a few generations. It takes a while to switch parties, but they're voting for Republican and conservative Republicans, Valadao and Vidak and Pedro Rios. That's why they are contenders. Mm-hmm. And that Central Valley, as we grow, will be a great counter to what's going on the coast as they do their all their restrictions. Less people will be able to live there. Maybe we can start getting the power.
Yeah, Cathy, we got about a minute left. Do you think we need to run somebody, though, for governor? I mean, will it all come from there? A flamboyant character rather than a cash carry or someone like that?
Well, it's a lot. This state is so big. It costs so much money to communicate to millions of voters compared to all these other governor races. They're great, but, I always compare it by they have maybe 10 congressmen in their state. We have 55 congressional districts. It's a huge, huge campaign. How do you win it? It's easiest if you're a name, obviously. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, if you do become a Secretary of State or state treasurer, that gives you a springboard. So it would be good to get someone to try to first win that, and then...
We always run out of time with you guys. This is fun. Thank you very much. We really enjoyed it.
Well, we do too. You guys do a great job.
Thank you.
Clay and Marty having a show on that talks both politics, conservatism, religion, faith, all those things.
Thank you.
Very important.
You guys are appreciated.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. We'll see you in 167 hours on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio News Talk 1180.